I can't sleep. There's nobody here to tell me bedtime stories, and I just feel so alone.
Hello. Cooey, silly little croc.
Who is that?
Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, but
Can you see
No,
me?
I don't see you. Where are you?
Look up.
Eh?
Just up, up, up. Hi, there we go.
Hi.
I couldn't help but hear you grumbling. Are you having trouble down there?
Yeah. I want to sleep, but I'm having a hard time sleep because I feel so alone.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, I may have a solution. Do you like a bedtime story?
Yeah. Oh, I love bedtime stories. But I don't want it to be a bedtime story that I've already heard. And I don't want it to be something that's too exciting because I get really excited. But also,
Stop right there. I can see the problem. You are full of energy. Don't worry. We'll make you the perfect story. What should it be about?
maybe pickle ice cream? Or maybe not before bed.
Have you noticed something special about me?
I have noticed something special about you. You is in the sky and I's on the ground.
You got it. And if you look closely, can you see my fluffy ears?
Oh, I can.
Yeah, because I'm not any old moon. What kind of moon do you think I might be?
I think yours. Oh, I know. You's a koala. I love koalas, and they're so cute when they hang in the trees, and I've always wanted to see a koala.
You got it. I'm the Koala Moon. I appear in the sky whenever someone needs a bedtime story. Like you. And my stories are kind of magic. Sound good?
Ah, yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story about... Was it pickled ice cream?
Oh, I like pickle ice cream. I like all my friends. I like many things. But why don't you tell me a story? Because I think you being very cute and up in the sky and magical. I think you could probably tell me really great stories. So be creative. I want to hear you.
I've got a perfect idea. How about we make you the main character?
I would love to hear a story all about me. It's perfect because, well, I feel alone. And I think maybe hearing a story about more silly crocodiles like me will help me feel not so alone.
Okay. Challenge accepted. Firstly, though, very important, you got to get ready for bed. You got to get ready to listen to this story. So we need to take some deep breaths together. Can you do that with me?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah? Okay, close your eyes. And take a lovely calming breath in. And then just let it out gently. Perfect. One more. In and out we go. I think you're going to be good at this, little crocodile.
I'm so excited. Oh, okay. I'm going to try to keep not excited, and I want to listen to your story.
Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little crocodile who lived in a place called Abbe, a wonderful world full of trees and wild flowers, where he spent his days doing silly things and having endless chuckles with his friends. On this particular afternoon, the silly crocodile was lounging under an oak tree, juggling acorns, when he noticed something rather peculiar. There was a hole by the tree, one he couldn't believe he hadn't noticed before. It was a big one, big enough for even the silliest of crocodiles to shuffle into. And within the hole was a tunnel. Not a dark, dingy tunnel, but a magical one, where the walls were dotted with glow-in-the-dark stars, and fireflies gathered in little lamps to light the way. The crocodile was no stranger to adventure, and was a curious sort, so he soon put down his acorns and crawled into the tunnel. As his eyes adjusted to the warm glow inside, he saw a little wooden sign painted with little lilac flowers and wisps of crescent moons. The words on the sign read, "Sleepy Forest." Sleepy Forest? He thought to himself. Where on earth could that be? He'd never heard of it, or seen it on a map. Although he didn't look at maps often, he preferred following his nose and getting lost. He found that was the best way to fall into adventures. Adventures just like this one. The silly crocodile's eyes widened in surprise as he shocked himself with a big, rumbling crocodile yawn. How peculiar. He hadn't felt all that sleepy before, but now he felt sleep heavying his eyelids. Maybe this was a sign that he should follow the tunnel to Sleepy Forest. He yawned again. Yup, definitely a sign. It was settled then. Off he trotted through the tunnel. The path twisted and turned, dotted here and there with glowing lilac mushrooms, yellow moonflowers, and little glittering gemstones. Then it emerged into a forest not unlike the one he came from, except here lanterns were strung between the trees and little fairies were flitting between the treetops. There was a loud rustle in the tree above him, and the silly crocodile put his snout to the sky, looking out for the source of the noise. A little grey, furry face poked out between the leaves and looked right back at him. Curiouser and curiouser. There, just hanging out in the tree, was a koala. "Hello there," said the little face. Two big furry ears and a velvety nose tilted as he cocked his head. "I'm Koko. Who are you?" The silly crocodile introduced himself. "You're not from here, are you?" Koko said. "I know nearly everyone in Sleepy Forest, and I've never seen you before." The crocodile explained how he'd come here through some kind of magical tunnel, one that definitely hadn't been there yesterday. Koko giggled. "Yeah, that sounds about right," he said. "Sleepy Forest is always doing things like that. It always brings people here who need a rest." The crocodile yawned again, and Koko giggled. "People like you," he said. He shimmied down the tree trunk and padded down onto the grass. Koko held out a paw and shook the silly crocodile's front foot. "Nice to meet you," he said. Then he began marching off along the path. "Follow me," he called over his shoulder. The silly crocodile shrugged and scampered along after Koko, humming to himself, stopping only when distracted by silly things like a rock that looked like his friend Freddy the Frog, or a stick that he wanted to poke Koko with. Soon they came to a cabin, a big, cosy-looking one, with a tree growing right through the middle. There was a porch where a sleeping, snoring grandpa koala rocked back and forth in a rocking chair, and a garden speckled with flowers, buzzing with bees, and filled with birdsong. "This is my house," Koko said. "Welcome. It's very relaxing here. I think you'll like it. It's the perfect place to rest. I'm going to get supplies. You just sit right there and get comfy." The silly crocodile stopped in his tracks box and plonked himself down on his belly. The grass was soft and wispy, and he giggled as it tickled his tummy, rolling onto his back to watch a fluffy cloud float across the sky. Koko disappeared into the house and came back with full arms, walking awkwardly as he tried to see over the pile and nearly tripping over his grandpa's slippers. The little koala joined the silly crocodile in the garden and threw down a picnic blanket with a flourish. The checkered red, orange and blue blanket drifted gently onto the grass, landing partly over the silly crocodile's head, turning the world multicolour. "Oops, sorry," the little koala giggled, as the crocodile crawled from under the blanket and flopped down on top of it, pretending to scold Koko in a funny voice, which made him laugh even harder. Koko threw open the flaps of the hamper he'd slung over his left shoulder and brought out a pile of colouring books and pencils, comics and a radio, before delving deeper and fishing out jam sandwiches, pints of pickled ice cream, and strawberry muffins. "Supper," he called it. "Now," said Koko, "we lie here and relax." The koala flopped onto his back and rested his paws on his little tummy, taking a big, deep breath and sighing out with a satisfied grin. The silly crocodile pointed to the comics and colouring and asked if they were going to colour or read or play. "You can do that if it makes you feel relaxed," Koko said. "But me, I'd like to just listen to the bugs and the leaves and enjoy the sunset." The silly crocodile looked out over the trees. The sun was slinking lower into the sky and shining warm and orange on their faces. He lay next to Koko, and the two watched as the clouds became smudged with candy floss pink, and the sun sunk lazily towards the horizon. The silly crocodile did what Koko said, listening to the trill of the crickets and the tweets of the birds, and instead of going to play and chase and chat with the other critters, he just enjoyed watching and listening to them instead. Soon his mind got quiet, and he began to feel as sleepy as could be. "Koko," the silly crocodile asked, "can I stay for a sleepover, please?" Koko grinned and sat up. "Of course, silly," he replied. After some more relaxing, the koala and the crocodile gobbled up their sandwiches, the crocodile getting sticky blueberry jam all over his feet and face, and even somehow his tummy, and drank their lemonade. Then they ate their fluffy muffins. "These are from Betty Badger's bakery," Koko said. "That's why they taste so yummy." Then, when the sun had set, Koko and the silly crocodile started their sleepover. Koko said that the best way to sleep in Sleepy Forest was under the stars. So, with Koko's mum and sister Kira's help, they heaved blankets, pillows, and sheets out into the garden. Then the koala and crocodile began making a bedtime fort. Koko began by picking the perfect sticks and putting 4 of them into the ground as corner posts. The silly crocodile was supposed to be putting the blankets in new cases, but he ended up all in a twist and a tangle inside a duvet cover. So Koko took over, laughing to himself every time he caught a peep of the silly crocodile rolling around trapped in yet another sheet. Finally, Koko freed the silly crocodile, and they each took an end of a blanket, Koko using his paws and the crocodile his teeth, and they threw it up over the sticks so it made a makeshift tent. The blanket was yellow, and the light from the lanterns outside made the inside glow golden and cosy. They laid down blankets and pillows and cushions inside, and then strung up fairy lights for an extra touch. They then looked at their fort proudly. The silly crocodile said he thought it looked delightful. After all, he usually just slept in a bush. Next, Koko said they had to build a campfire. Koko's dad, a friendly koala in a woolly jumper patterned with ducks and geese, came to help them. He told them to search for little sticks whilst he collected some bigger logs, and the silly crocodile dug his snout through the undergrowth, pulling out twigs and dry leaves, snacking on a couple of berries now and again. Koko was up the top of a tree, gathering sticks up there, and soon they had enough to keep the fire going all night long. Koko's dad showed them how to arrange big stones in a circle to make the fire pit, and then helped them assemble the campfire and set it alight. Soon, orange flames danced and flickered and lit up the now dusky clearing. The silly crocodile watched the shimmying, shimmering light and felt the warmth seeping into his scales. A yawn escaped him once again. With everything ready, Koko and the silly crocodile lounged on the picnic blanket by the campfire and looked up at the sky. One by one, little twinkling stars were making themselves seen, forming little constellations at first, then bigger ones, until the whole sky was covered and the smudgy glow of the Milky Way was twisting across space. Koko disappeared into the cabin and came back with his pink ukulele. As the sleepy crocodile snuggled into his blanket, Koko played a song for him, making up lyrics as he went. He sang about the crocodile and how he should stay a while, and gave him a smile, continuing until he ran out of rhymes. And then the two new friends just chatted about everything and nothing, until the fire had settled down to glowing embers. When the sleepy crocodile next yawned with his long jaws, Koko stood up and reached down a hand to pull the croc to his feet. "Let's go get ready for bed," he said. They entered the cosy cabin, and Koko's dad was in the kitchen warming a pot of milk. "Perfect timing," he said. "I was just making hot cocoa for everyone." The sleepy crocodile padded over to the big squishy sofa by the fireside and pulled a nest of blankets around himself, swinging his feet contentedly as he waited for his mug of hot chocolate. Koko sat in the big armchair to his left, and Kira came and sat cross-legged, warming her paws by the fire. Koko and Kira's dad brought a tray with 3 mugs on it and passed a hot cup to each of the animals. The silly crocodile put his snout straight into the whipped cream and slurped up a marshmallow. It was delicious. The comfy koala, panda, and crocodile sipped at the velvety hot chocolate, listening to the crackle of the fireplace and the slow chatter of Koko's parents and grandparents in the next room. Once every last sip was gone, Koko led the crocodile into the upstairs bathroom, where he found an extra flannel and toothbrush already laid out for him. The sleepy, silly crocodile washed his face with a bar of bubblegum soap, plunging it into the warm sink water and feeling extra clean and ready to put his head down onto a pillow. Next, he and Koko stood side by side, brushing each little pearly white. Koko finished first, as crocodiles have quite a lot of teeth, and it takes much longer to polish each one to perfection. Then, Koko offered a pair of pajamas to the silly crocodile, saying he could pick any pair he wanted. The crocodile went for woodland-themed pajamas, covered in little squirrels and acorns. Then they put on their slippers and shuffled back out to their perfect sleepover fort, each laying down in their own nest of pillows and blankets. "Night-night, silly," Koko said. "Good night, Koko," the crocodile replied. The night was still and quiet, and the cool air brushed their faces as their bodies stayed warm under soft, furry blankets. As they closed their eyes, an owl hooted, as if he too was saying good night. The breeze whispered through the trees, and the moon shone a soft, sleepy light over the fort as the two new friends fell asleep, soon drifting into the sweetest of dreams. The last thing the sleepy crocodile thought before he fell asleep was how wonderful Sleepy Forest was, and how relaxing it had been to hang out with his new friend Koko. He had a feeling he'd be visiting again very soon.